What's up, family? Hey, yo, I want to welcome you to the journey. I am Brother Hatim. Of course, I ain't got no sound effects today, but we're going to work that out. But hey, let me go on and welcome you. This is Gye-Nyame Journey, and we are going to bring a great conversation. Y'all know the brother. I brought him on before. He is, in a sense, our webmaster, and he helps us keep everything moving in the way that we do. But also, he's what I like to call. He's gonna get mad. He's like what I call one of my nerd friends, right? He knows a lot. I mean, he was talking about cryptocurrency a long time before I even heard it from other people. I mean, and like I said, because I met him, the internet was hot, but it wasn't like it wasn't included in our lives like it is now. So this brother has had some foresight, and also he can help us learn a little bit more about crypto, what we could do with it, and what we could build with it as well. So let me bring him on. If you would give him a round of applause. I'm bringing on Brother Dentista. Come on in, my friend.
Hey,
how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great. And I would be doing better if I could remember how to adjust this camera so that I can have you as the big person and me as the little. But anyway, let's keep it moving. All right, let's do it like we make it even. There we go.
There we go.
All right,
that works.
So, so now, first off, tell us, how did you get involved with cryptocurrency, and then we'll get into the whys and move forward from there.
I got into it like maybe 2 years after it was created. I was living in Chicago when I heard about it, and I did all the little bit of research at the time, and I knew how money worked, because I was looking into stuff like sovereign citizenship and stuff like that, and just more for research, not trying to be one, until I started learning about cryptocurrency. And then I realized I learned how money works. I learned how money has no value except for what we give it. And after all that, I just kind of kept learning more and more about it. That's all.
Okay, cool. So and now you mentioned the sovereign citizenship. What in cryptocurrency could connect to the idea of sovereignty and stuff like that?
Well, they always, like for Bitcoin especially, they always talk about it being you're your own central bank, where the money that whatever value that you create, you have control over it, you have responsibility over it, and it's all yours. No one can take it from you. No one can like abuse it, and if you don't want them to. And so along the lines of the sovereign citizens or whatnot, where they don't want to be beholden to any one government or any government. They want to be responsible for themselves and just live as a human being on Earth, and and not have to be a part of the game that the rest of us have to suffer through.
So a cryptocurrency presents an opportunity for those that use it to be able to get out of the quote unquote game.
Right.
Man, all right, cool. So now, which cryptocurrency did you start with?
Of course, I like everybody else, started with Bitcoin. At the time, that was the only thing that existed, and so I started learning about that. And during that time, you can do what's called mining, which is essentially using a computer to crunch math and then find a solution, and then the solution gives you a reward in the form of a Bitcoin. At that time, Bitcoin was probably around $10 a coin.
Stop playing.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Now it's around.
Well, let me ask you this, a personal question.
Yeah.
Because you said you started when you was in Chicago. Is this when you went to go teach capoeira in Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. well, the missus was in finishing up her MFA, and so I tagged along because gotta support the lady.
So you started when it was so you actually did mining too?
Yeah, for a hot second, yeah. But it quickly became expensive. Like after a while, you start needing specialty equipment, and and the more people that got into the network, the more competition there is. Like the more computer power you needed, and so after a while, it became too expensive to do mine anymore.
All right, cool. So now, for example, when you started mining, because I want people to understand what was you using to mine when you first started? And he kind of explained what mining is, but what was you using?
I was doing the CPU mining in the beginning, which was just like a big desktop. I had like this actually had a server that I converted into a desktop, and so it was doing my mining for me.
And then they start coming out with this before they start having like specialty machines that would do it?
Yeah. Before they had specialty machines, before they were using GPUs, which was just CPU by itself, CPU and RAM. And then they moved into the GPUs, which are like the graphics cards. And then from the graphics cards, they moved into FPGA and ASIC, which are special chips that do one task. Most of our CPUs, like they're general purpose, so they do calculation, they do word, process and stuff like this. But specialty machines, the ASIC devices, they only do what you program to do, and they can't do anything else.
Now, were you successful at actually getting stuff from the mine?
Oh yeah. In the beginning, it was fairly easy.
Stop. For real?
Yeah. In the beginning, it was easy, but after a while, they have in the equation they have what's called difficulty, and it makes it harder and harder for your computer to just come up with the answer or find a solution to the equations. Like, so it's more with difficulty means more time. Just like if you were mining gold for real or some precious metal for real, like as you go deeper and deeper, it takes longer, it takes more man hours, it takes more energy in order to get something out of the earth. And so it's the same thing with computational mining too.
So I mean, so now in a sense, the whole idea of the computation or the computation mining is similar to putting in work with shovels and stuff. It's time. And then you get a reward. Every now and then you get a reward for the amount of time and energy that you put into it.
Yep, that is correct.
All right. So after Bitcoin, what was the next move?
The next one, Potcoin. So for business that are into cannabis and stuff like that.
Okay.
So there's Potcoin, there's Cannacoin, and I think there's a Cannabis coin. They all were based around the same protocol as Bitcoin, so they just kind of like forked off and became their own offshoots. But I got into Potcoin because it was cheap. It was still pretty easy to mine, and I started to see that at some point, selling marijuana for recreational use, for medicinal use, for industrial use was going to happen. And so I kind of wanted to get into that before it happened, because those businesses are still federally illegal. And but on the state, they can still operate, but they can't use the banks because those banks have a charter through the federal government, state and federal government. And so they would be in violation of law. And so they wouldn't do business with cannabis companies. And so a lot of cryptocurrency start popping up so that people can move their money into cryptocurrency and use the cryptocurrency, and vice versa, to like do transfers and stuff. So I was getting into that for a little while. It was fine. Like I made a little money out of it, but nothing significant. It started getting boring because the networks, the people who would maintain the coins, they really weren't innovating. It was just basically what we already had, was just basically money, there was no real innovation. So
yeah. So all right, so then answer me this: what was the difference between the Potcoin and Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin was because Bitcoin was exciting enough so that other people would get in, and in a sense, in a lot of ways, kind of muscle you out, because you would have to really invest a lot of money.
Man,
I mean, like right now, to get a good miner, you're gonna have to pay about a good miner where you might get a coin, you're gonna have
yep.
to spend about $30,000.
Yep. You'll probably end up spending like maybe a quarter of whatever it takes to get like half a Bitcoin or something like that. It's incredibly expensive. I got the Potcoin because nobody was doing it. You had a handful of people, and that's about it. Like there, and it's still kind of small. As long as it's been around, it really hasn't done too much. But
Okay.
when it first came out, everybody was like, "Oh, weed coins," and so everybody was hopping in for a hot second, make a little bit of money, and then they dump it all.
Right. So can you explain to the family what's this whole pump and dump thing?
Oh,
Yeah,
pump and dump. It doesn't isn't is actually comes from stocks, like old school stocks, where they would talk up a stock and then they'll get everybody hyped and they throw so much money in, then the price of the stock goes up and up and up. They bought in low, but the value of the stock is real high, and so they'll get it as high as they possibly can, and then all of a sudden they'll collect their money and then leave. And them taking so much money out of the market causes the price to crash. And so, you pump it up and then you dump it all back down, and then everybody who's left behind, ends up, losing their shirt. And so it's the same thing in cryptocurrency. You'll have influencers like recently with like Dogecoin.
right. I hate that.
Dogecoin is it was meant to be
A joke.
yeah, it was meant to be a joke. It's a shit coin, but it's so ironic, I guess. And
You know what it's like? You know what it's like?
Hmm.
It's like anime. Let's say Bitcoin is Dragon Ball Z, and Dogecoin, which was a joke to make fun of all the stuff that was going on with the other coins that are successful, was like One Punch Man. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't supposed to.
Those are fight words. Some of the anime.
See, but they get mad and fight because look, I'm not saying that I don't like it, but we do know that One Punch Man started off as a joke against some of those. You understand what I'm saying? And it has risen to a level because the whole piece about One Punch Man, which is, how can I put it? Which is different than Dragon Ball Z, is One Punch Man has the challenge of not being able to be beat. He beats everybody in one punch, almost everybody, right? So it's like, it's really no competition. At least with Dragon Ball Z, Goku is eventually going to win, but damn, you got 50 episodes to find out. One Punch Man, once he get that punch in, it's over.
Yeah. Well, that essentially was it, and you have these guys now, celebrities and minor celebrities on social media, whatever, and they tell tell everybody, buy this much of Doge, and then the little kids who don't know anything about money go out and buy a bunch of Dogecoin, pump up the price. That guy or their crew or their little circuit, little cadre of people, they all make a lot of money off of it, and then they exit, and they leave everybody with a handful of useless coins they can't do anything with.
Right. And that's I was very disappointed with Elon Musk and that whole
yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you too smart to not know what you're doing. Or maybe you so smart that you stupid and don't know that's a possibility you're being used. Because there are nerds there are people like that you're just so goddamn intelligent that you don't really understand that you're being used.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, just at a whim, you could make the price of something go up or go down. That's a lot of
I mean, he was hurting himself too, and with that too, because he was trying to get people like they call them whales or people who have like the biggest wallets, with the most money in a cryptocurrency, and that's actually a gaming terminology of people who spend the most money on video games, but it carries over into cryptocurrency. So he was hurting himself because his company, I believe it was Tesla, they were allowing purchase using Bitcoin like that, and they wouldn't trade it out for cash or whatever. They keep it in Bitcoin. But then him going with this old Bitcoin uses too much energy, when it mines, yada. I'm like, it's the largest supercomputer network on the planet, and it's not like the ones in with the Oak Park Lab or like the ones the Chinese have or IBM supercomputers. Or like this is a world computer. Of course, it uses a lot of energy. It's multiple countries all doing the same processing. Of course, it uses a lot of energy.
But you know what uses more?
What use more?
You want to know what uses more?
What uses more?
YouTube.
Yeah. The YouTube data center is like massive.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of other stuff on the planet. I mean, because like I said, part of the value that's given outside of what we give it is the effort that you put in to get Bitcoin.
Exactly.
So you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, maybe you're so smart, you stupid. I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm just an amateur. I'm a baby at this game. So now what's going on now is before we move on to going into wallets and stuff like that.
Okay.
What other coins are you looking at? Any coins now? Like I said, if somebody out here possibly wanted to get involved with some coins, not that you're giving advice, but what coins are you looking at? Right. We're not giving finance. We're just two brothers talking.
Okay, so it depends. Okay, when you get into these coins, you have to have a plan on why you're doing it. Just if you want to get rich, you're gonna end up poor. But there has to be a reason
why.
Yeah, like you have to have a plan. You have to have a reason, a goal as to why you're doing this. For me, I'm doing some stuff with my family, my clan, and so what we're trying to do, like we started like this little micronation kind of thing, and so when we look at money, we have to figure out how are we going to use it? How can we expand its value? What else can we do with cryptocurrency? It has to be fast enough for processing. It has to be lightweight as far as computation goes, so that anybody can enter into it, as opposed to trying to have specialty equipment. And so we chose the Stellar network, and mainly because it's a worldwide network, and that it's lightweight on computers. You can spin up a VPS and install it yourself. You can use it from your phone. I'm actually doing an experiment on running on for Raspberry Pi. And for those who don't know what a Raspberry Pi is, this is a Raspberry Pi right here. And here, it's inside of a case, but this is a full computer, and so I'm actually running like a server now, and I have about 15 websites running on something small like this.
What?
Yeah.
Hey man, you don't need to be telling me that, because I'm paying for space. God damn it! I wanted some quality space.
Just because it's small doesn't mean that it doesn't have space. This one here only has four gigs of RAM, but the one I have off on the side here has like 64 gigs of RAM, and then the next one I'm working on has 128 gigs of RAM of hard drive space. Sorry, and so most entry-level VPSs are around 120 gigs in a hard drive space, and so like what you have. What is that?
2 gigabytes.
2 gigs. Yeah. So these are larger than that.
Okay.
So yeah, because for a basic website, you don't need much. And the way when you have really good coders, they work for efficiency and computer resource. And so getting back to what we're talking about, the Stellar network allows you to use their network, for global payments or remittance, which is like a really large segment of finance, especially for people who are immigrants and migrants and back and forth across the world. Like, so you work in the United States, but you still got family back in Nigeria. It costs a lot of money because Nigerian banks and U.S. banks don't talk to each other. So you have to send money to a bank, to a bank, to a bank that is a friend with a bank in the United States, and then that bank trickles on down to the original bank. So that's a lot of your money. Western Union used to be like $100 to send $200. And so that's a lot of money. And so with the Stellar network, it might cost you like a fourth of a penny to send money, no matter what, from U.S. to your family back in Nigeria, saving you money and making sure they get more of the money that you're sending.
Right.
And Akon, you remember Akon?
Right.
Yeah, like he's starting a city. Apparently, I think they or supposedly have broke ground. I have my opinions, but his coin, the A coin, is on the Stellar network, and so I found out about that after I started my coin on the Stellar network. But essentially to do the same thing, to allow for our own self sovereignty, our own self determination, our own you know own values. Like I want to be able to do business who I want to do business with. I don't want to have to limit myself because somebody somewhere doesn't like something that they're doing. They ain't did nothing to me, so why should I not have to work with them, or why can't I work with them? Especially if they have products that I want and need, or services I want and need. So yeah.
All right. So now because I want to do it but you see cryptocurrency not only as a sovereignty of freedom thing, you see it as a tool for really being able to do some nation building type shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Like because like capitalism is not great, but it is the best idea we've had so far. Democracy is not great, but it is the best idea we've had so far. And so we continue to use those ideas in order to further our own goals until we figure out something better. They say on Earth, the United States is the best form of democracy. We all live here. We all know how it's hit and miss. But if that's the best we have, we really need to work harder. And so having more experiments in democracy, in whatever form of government you want, like if you're anarchist, if you're socialist or whatever, you're gonna have to exchange some type of tool of value, because
right.
What you might think is valuable, I might not think it's valuable, but we should be able to come to some middle ground. That's usually where money comes in. It used to be cowrie shells, it used to be beads, it used to be shiny rocks, and now it's pieces of cloth, and in some places paper. And so that's the most efficient means that we found so far in order to be an exchange of goods. So yeah, so it helps when you're trying to build a nation. That's something that we can all agree on is of value to us, in order for me to exchange my my services through, like, my blood, sweat, and tears, or whatever it is I've created. And I need what you have, but you don't need as much as what I have, and I don't need as much as what you have. So we have to find some middle ground, and
a medium of exchange.
Exactly. And the easiest form, because creating a dollar is expensive. The U.S., like for every penny is created, is like actually 2 cents to make the thing.
Right.
Like, and so you're actually working at a loss. But like a piece of code is just a dude sitting down for an hour or two. And of course he deserves to be, compensated for his time, but he created something from nothing, that we can all use.
So now you mentioned Stellar Network. So yes. What is something like a Stellar Network, and how does it fit in with this whole cryptocurrency thing?
Okay, well, all the blockchains are a network. Well, the blockchain itself is a ledger. Like, so if anybody who's ever done accounting, or if you've done your own house bookkeeping, you write, oh, I got this much money in, but I had to pay this bill, and then subtract that from the top, and then, like, the ledger itself is a record. So the blockchain is a series of transactions that are recorded on all the computers on the network. So the Stellar network is essentially the exact same thing. It's just a lighter weight, faster, more resilient, in my opinion, network. That's all.
No, all right. So, but I'm still confused. So is Stellar a coin? Or is it okay?
Stellar's the network, but the Stellar Lumen, which is the name of their coin, is the network's coin. And so transactions between the multiple coins can happen either by direct trade or through a third-party medium, which would be the stellar called the Lumen. And so if you have Nigerian Naira and US dollars, you can, but I don't want Naira, but they can exchange Naira for Lumen, and then I want the Lumen, and so I'll do that trade, and they can, still get paid.
Right. Okay. So, so the network, I think I got me some Lumen. So
because you have, in order to do any of the trades, you have to be holding a certain amount of Lumen. So you create what's called a trust line. And so a trust line is you trusting the distributor of whatever token or coin. And so with I have the CRD, which is the credit. And so in order for you to get those, you have to accept the trust line state so that we can connect with each other. So it's like through permission, and so you can't just here, take these. Like you have to want that. You have to you have to volunteer to be part of a person's interaction or transaction.
All right. So how do you get on it? How you get on the network? I mean, you just got to buy Lumen. So I can go to like a Coinbase or someplace and buy Lumen.
I don't know if Coinbase.
I think they do, man. I got something. Let me go. I'm about to pull up my.
That's cool if you do. But I don't promote Coinbase. I use Lobster, LOBSTR.co. It's a decentralized, open source exchange. You can do it on your phone, on your computer, on your tablet. Any of those devices. What I don't promote.
So is it like a wallet? You say,
okay,
hold on, because finish about Lobster. Then I want you to tell us why you don't use Coinbase, and then I want to get into the Cash App.
Okay, so Lobster, the wallet is part of the exchange account. So there's a difference between having just a wallet and being on the exchange. The exchange is for when you're trying to. It's basically like having stock, where you buy coins, you try to get them at a good price to maximize profit and minimize loss. So that's what the exchange is. It's a way to buy other tokens, other coins in order to mine and almost like an investment. Where a wallet is just the device in which holds your tokens and coins. And so you can have a wallet without it being part of an exchange. I recommend, it's called a Solar app, and you can get it out of the Android Play Store, and I think it's on the iOS too. And that's just a wallet. You can still do trust lines, and you can still store, and you can still send and receive, but you can't buy other coins. But if you are, but it's not an exchange where you can go and then try to find price differences and stuff like that. What you get is what you get in a wallet. Okay. And then you go on the exchange, and then the exchange has a wallet attached to it. Now, I hope that wasn't too.
Well, I mean, because we probably have to do a few more shows so people get the hang of it, because of course, I'm all about building tribe, and the ideas that you have as far as cryptocurrency will enable us to do some things together, as well as within your clan, within my tribe. I'm trying to move to the future. So if I'm correct, the wallet is where, in a sense, you keep your value, you keep your coins.
Yes.
And it's not connected. It's not necessarily connected to an exchange. But if you are connected to an exchange, you have a wallet within that exchange. So I'm imagining that you could take the stuff out the wallet at the exchange and put it into your personal wallet.
Correct.
Okay. And now, if you could help us understand, is it complicated to move? Because what's going on now is that a lot of people are doing micro investment, because on Cash App, you can buy stock and you can buy $1 worth of Bitcoin. So we have people like myself who, every time I got a little bit of extra money, or I make some money or have some extra money, I buy $1 Bitcoin, or I go to Coinbase and I'm buying stuff. And you're telling me that I could go on now and move the little bit that I have from near to somewhere else. Now, first, before we even talk about moving it, what is the problem you believe with Coinbase and Cash App?
Okay, so the way Coinbase and Cash App work, they are pretending to be banks. They're functioning like banks, where they have KYC and AML. KYC is know your customer. AML is anti-money laundering. So that's a lot of your personal information. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, if you're not doing anything wrong, then you got nothing to hide.
I hear you, right.
But you don't know what's of value. You don't know what part of you is of value to someone else. And so it is in your best interest to have complete control over who sees what about you. When you sign up for on Lobster or whatever, you have your email address and the password. Essentially, that's it. If you want to do more, you can, and that's typically because that you can link your credit card to it to buy more, and that's because of legacy system. When I say legacy systems, I mean banks, old financial institutes. With Coinbase and Cash App, what they do, they buy up a lot of Bitcoin, they buy up a lot of Ethereum, and they hold on to it. So you're essentially trading within their inner network, not the greater Bitcoin and Ethereum network. And so when they want to cut you off, they have the means to cut you off. If they don't want you, if you want to trade with somebody else and they say, hey, that is that too, you can't do that.
Right. You can't send Pookie no Bitcoin.
Yeah, like for that weed or whatever you're about to buy from him, you can't do that. I want to make something clear that Bitcoin is not anonymous; it's pseudonymous, anonymous, where it's partially but you can be tracked on those networks. Yes, everything's public, even on the Stellar one. Your transactions are public. You can do go into an Explorer and see what transactions went from where. If you want to be private, you use Monero. So pro criminal tip, don't use Bitcoin for crime. You're better off using the dollar if you want to you want to be anonymous.
Because they caught that dude on the Silk Road.
He got caught because he left his laptop open and he stepped away from his laptop. That's how he got caught. They suspected that he was the Dread Pirate Roberts, but they didn't have any real proof. And they had to wait for him to log into his Silk Road account to prove that it was him. And so he went to a coffee shop, and the coffee shop was crowded. It was probably filled with Fed. And then he went to a library, and they were waiting for him in the library. And so one of the agents sat down behind him, and then he got up to go get something, and then she leaped over him, pushed him out the way, grabbed his laptop, and ran out, and then they arrested him. That's how he got caught.
Oh, okay. All right, so they ain't trust you. My fault.
Yeah, all right, so now always use a VPN and
see, and I got a VPN. I got a VPN through you. Yeah, I don't know how to use the goddamn thing, man.
I have to show you how, but Control-Alt-L every time you walk away from your machine, that locks your screen.
All right, another question. So what's the difference between the Stellar network and you said because I got Ethereum? Is that a network too?
Yeah, Ethereum is a different network, but currently they have their transaction fees are called gas. Right. So you use a lot of gas in order to send a transaction from point A to point B, but their transactions are very, very high, very, very high, and so you're better off just holding on to it.
You mean as far as cost?
Yeah. So okay. So in order to send something in there, their gas price, it'll say 1 or 2 ETH is what was the short form of Ethereum. So 1 or 2 ETH. But if you look up 1 or 2 ETH, that's like $80. So that's and I'm being a little over the top, but it's expensive to send money on their network. Because originally my cryptocurrency was on the Ethereum network, but it was costly for people to send it, and it was slow. Faster than the Bitcoin network, but still slower than register transaction. Like when you're at the register and you do a transaction and then you swipe your card, it's like 3 seconds. But if you have to sit there for 15 seconds, 15 seconds become 30 seconds, and sometimes the transaction takes even longer, like on heavy network days. You're looking kind of silly at the register. So we didn't use the Ethereum network for those very reasons. Like those tend to be more for the Ethereum network, and the Bitcoin network are more along the lines of store of value. So when you get your Ethereum, you don't plan on spending it. You just collecting it until the value goes up, and then you buy your house in Malibu or something. But for everyday use, it's probably not the best, for that. They'll have like little side chains, and I think they're working on something now that's supposed to speed it up. But that's kind of like having a broken car, but all of a sudden you put a little handicap wheel on the side or something like that to make it go. But the car is there's still a flaw in the car. No matter what you add on to it, there's still a fundamental flaw in the core. So that's just my personal views on it.
All right. So now Stellar Network, once again, family, the coin for Stellar is Lumen. In order to be active on the network, you have to have Lumen. And then also remember, he said that in a sense, Cash App, PayPal, of course, PayPal, Coinbase are not, in a sense, private networks. So at any given time, somebody has enough information to know what you are doing and be able to stop any transaction that you have. And one of the issues behind, or one of the reasons to get involved with these blockchains, with these cryptocurrencies, is so that you can have the freedom of movement and doing what you want to do with your capital, with your value.
But I also want to say, it's not necessarily all tinfoil hats and stuff. There are those who want to just deal in crypto, and you want to pay your taxes and you want to just like live your regular life, but you're just kind of tired of disease-ridden dollars. You can still do that. Like I use the crypto.com Visa card and the block card. And that's where you can be paid in whatever in certain coins, and then you have them transferred to your crypto account, and then your crypto account loads up a Visa debit card, and then you can still have legacy transactions, but still using legacy finance 2.0, cryptocurrency. And so I prefer to deal directly in cryptocurrency, but some people, some companies won't accept cryptocurrency because they think it's a scam, it's a fad, or yada yada. And so
there's still companies out there thinking that right now, even to this day.
Yep. And so you'll be able to still spend a Visa, like using your Visa card, wherever Visa is accepted, and it'll be powered by your cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So you can still do that. Also, when you have cryptocurrency, it's best to keep it as cryptocurrency, because the moment you trade it in, that's a taxable event. So that means that just like when you cash out your stock, there's a tax on cashing out your stock. When you cash out your crypto, there's a tax associated with that. So when at the end of the year and you go see, Jackson Hewlett or H&R Block, you have to declare that.
Yep. Right.
So that could be, I know the stock is like up to 30%. So I don't know what crypto is currently, but that's
they're about to raise it up.
Yeah, and that means more of your money not in your pockets. So like if you get crypto, learn to use crypto.
All right. So he mentioned as a place of exchange, lobster.co. Can you get your cryptocurrency off of Lobster?
You can get my currency in any exchange associated with the Stellar Network. Because the Stellar Network, all of the coins on Stellar Network are interactive.
All right. So you hit me to something called Keybase. And what is Keybase?
Okay, so Keybase is a social media platform but well, it was heavily encrypted. I haven't kept up with their development, but essentially it allows people to create like the little circles of friends, and and the whole backend is heavily encrypted. And that pretty much that's all it is. There are groups, there are chats, there are I think you do teams and stuff like that. And on Keybase, they've also attached a Stellar wallet, so you can all your Stellar coins and stuff like that. You can use that in Keybase.
So that's where all my goddamn coins at.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you have your secret key and your public key, you can move that to wherever. It doesn't have to be in crypto in the Keybase application. You can move that stuff to a different wallet. And so your secret key is like your routing number in your bank. You don't want everybody to have your routing number. And then your public key is like your bank account. So that's like a bank account. Anybody can put money in your account, but nobody can take money out of your account. And so it's kind of like that. So your public key, you can use that for transactions to and fro, but to have control over it, you need your secret key, and you get those when you set up your wallets.
Okay. All right. So now I want to talk about the cred, and we got a little piece of your vision, but go on. How do you spell it? CRD?
Yeah. Yeah, the CRD or the credit, yeah.
Right, and you developed it as. Go ahead, go on, give us, because you building something. So let the people know what's going on.
Well, like I said, I'm building the micronation. Ultimately, like I might not even live long enough to see this one, but I've put in place, like through my family, like we formed a family council, and the family council, they helped me to kind of streamline the vision, and so it doesn't get too big and out of control, but like more like manageable short-term goals. And so a nation requires people, obviously, but it also requires infrastructure. Infrastructure in the form of like stuff we say it needs a voice, so we create a media company. And a media company is like streaming, since the internet is global. And then there's also like written stuff like a newspaper back in the day. And so that would be like the core parts of your media. And then having a platform where anybody can join and also contribute. For a while we had a Goblin box for that. But like I was telling you earlier, I messed something up and I have to go back and redo it. And then after your media, everybody has to eat. So you start working on that. So we created a grocery store and a marketplace, online groceries. And then after that, you need security. And actually these aren't in any particular order, but you need security. So we formed a security company, and I don't want to talk too much about what they do, but they keep us safe. And after the security company, we have like a technologies company, and the technology company is Sector 01. Sector 01 right now we host are doing hosting, but we're actually working on some aerospace stuff next, like some call them CubeSats, and CubeSats are like these little bitty boxes for satellites in orbit, and so we're working on that kind of stuff.
All right, so and so the cred came up out of this. So the cred is how you exchange value within this micronation.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And how and what benefit would it be for other people out there to get it? Because right now the craze is, I want to get the Bitcoin because it's gonna be worth $100,000 in 2 years. Somebody said by Christmas it's gonna be worth $100,000, and Ethereum is gonna be worth $3,000. And I'm just waiting, and I'm gonna cash in.
that kind of stuff is greed.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah, that's greed, and it's not smart. And I mean, if that's the case, you might as well just go and gamble. Throw your money.
That's a
Throw
good
your money
idea. I'm gonna throw that on there till I'm gonna gamble a little
at a
bit.
lottery ticket. Just go to the corner store, spend like $100, and maybe you'll get a 500 back or
Got
whatever.
my lottery ticket right here, right here.
But the credit is more along the lines of where we want to go further. Ultimately, we're looking to buy an island or some coastal property someplace. And at current, like the credit's been around for, I don't know, a few months. Started late last year, I think. But I haven't really been able to promote it because I've been busy with other stuff. But at where we stand right now, our market cap is about $4 billion. And that might seem like a lot, but it's really not. I think it's more than some nations for sure. But those nations are the ones that we consider third world. And I don't like calling them third world, the developing nations,
Right.
redeveloping nations after being destroyed. So the point of having this is for stability. If we just go someplace and then we know, oh, this is our new nation, and then no one has anything unified to build anything with, then we have to end up using like the dollar. Well, we're trying to get away from the empire. Or we have to use gold. Well, gold is heavy as hell, and so we're not going to be carrying around pockets of gold, and it's expensive. This was inexpensive to start, and easy to maintain, and easy to transport, and easy to to exchange for goods or services. And we're also going to do like they call it airdrops, which is kind of like a lottery. So we have to figure out how to get people involved in that. So that's where we're going. So to be able to give it to as many people as possible, and to give it even more value than just what we're doing. That's what the infrastructure is for, to create marketplaces so people can go in and maybe they got some handmade stuff they want to sell, and they'll sell it for some credit, and then people can exchange back and forth. So those are our long-term goals. But our longest long-term goal is to buy an island someplace, and there are plenty of them in French Polynesia that are for sale, and that's what we want to do. Because I would like to do some scientific stuff without having somebody say I can't, or like, oh no, you're too black for that. You're not smart enough for that stuff. Like, no, you can't do it. Or if you're gonna do that, I want a cut of it, that kind of stuff. Like, no, science for science sake, medicine for medicine's sake, for the benefit of people. And so any nation that we do develop will be a neutral nation. I don't want to be a part of the Game of Thrones and all that kind of stuff.
All right, so first things first, I always wanted to build a Johnny Sacco robot, and I'm with you if I could go and build a robot on the island, because I see y'all doing aerospace. And I want the robot to be able to do like this and shoot shit out his finger.
I mean, best robots do.
Okay. And then also, man, because you ain't talking about no Island of Dr. Monroe shit, are you?
No,
you do want to experiment.
There are still rules. There are still laws.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Like no law, no crimes against humanity or nature. None of that stuff.
I'm just fucking with you. But anyway. So now, and so the credit is not to get rich. The credit is to develop something that could be legitimately exchanged between people within your nation or within your culture that could be used, right? So there's so other people. I mean, like for example, because Gye-Nyame, I think we got about 50,000 or something like that, somewhere around there. And what I wanted to do was to kind of start exchanging it within our ranks for people who are doing great things. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's something I'm still my mind is like a flower in bloom. I'm trying to wrap because I'm still trying to wrap. I'm still kind of shaky. I feel a little bit more confident with the little bit of understanding that I have, because like in a tribe, you don't have to understand everything. You just need to have people around you You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, yo, I don't need to study everything if I have a brother like you and this is your forte. This is how we build. One of the problems is that a lot of us think that we got to know every goddamn thing.
Right.
No, I want you to focus on what you good at and let me do what I'm good at, and we cool.
Like
But
with I want with cryptocurrency though, there is a level of responsibility that I don't think most people, Americans for sure, are used to having. Like if you mess up, you've messed up. Like there's no calling the bank, hey, reverse that transaction, hey, fix this for me, hey, like I think it was the computer, it did it automatically, that kind of stuff. You are responsible for you, as it should be. Like you are not a baby, we are all adults, so when you're treating this like money, it is like money.
right.
It is money. Like so the things that you wouldn't do with that paper dollar, you should not do with your cryptocurrency. So you'll have some people are like, oh no, I pressed the wrong thing. I was like, well, you're SOL. Like just like if you drop $20 on the ground, if you
It's
lucky,
gone.
if you lucky, that's really lucky. You go back and find it. But 9 times out of 10, that's been scooped up and that's been spent on something else. And you are shit out of luck. So it's the same thing with crypto.
Have you had any crypto nightmares that you would like to share with the people? A story
Yes.
of warning?
Yes. Keep backups. If you have it stored in your computer, have it written down someplace and store it. I lost a little bit of Monero because the password that I thought it was not the password, and I can't find the password, so I'm locked out of a wallet that I currently have.
Oh, so but as long that wallet will be there. So let's say your daughter grow up and one day she happens to come into one of our office or space and looking through some stuff that belong to you. You'd be like, Daddy, I found this. If she find the code in the proper way, 10 years from now, you'll be able to enter that and possibly open a wallet. Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So you could right here.
So where do
you could do this like where say you got grandkids or great grandkids and you just want to store some money away, you can do that and put it into a cold wallet for cold, what they call cold storage, and then just put that in someplace safe. Like let me make sure my stuff ain't showing on this one. There we go. All right, cool. So this is a cold wallet. It's basically a sheet of metal. On the other side over here is like is my public key. Under this patch is my private key. It's a QR code. And so whatever I put on this thing, it's there. As long as the network exists. And say 400 years from now, if it's still of value to humanity, somebody figures it out and like, oh yeah, they have access.
Where you get one of those at?
This one's from a company called Axiom. And so there's a Axiom Crypto, and it's just a little metal card with the QR code laser etched into it. So that'll outlive my bones, So and then like I was saying, the block card is like the Visa the Visa crypto debit, and then you have the other card.
I've seen that.
This is from crypto.com. And so those Visa cards you can use with your crypto, and then the cold storage wallet you can have, instead of having a wallet on your computer or a wallet on your phone, you can do it in cold storage and just send it to that address, and it'll be there. So for those of us closer to retirement, you can start squirreling away your own money and then just forget about it. And as the price of the crypto goes up, your nest egg is just doing fine, as opposed to like always checking it. Every time you grab your phone, like checking your stock and stuff like that, just put it away.
I got another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. I forgot the question. I'm old as hell. I'm old as hell. I mean, it was something about the cold storage. It was something about, oh my God, I forgot it that damn quick. It was, and it was going to change somebody's life. I don't know. I don't know what's going to change somebody's life. All right. So now you said a marketplace for CRD, for cred.
Yep.
Do you have, is it open for the
It's not
public?
open yet because right now we have to get some money together to save up for the developer because the tie-in that I want to use for the marketplace is this platform called Freighter, and Freighter is a plugin for web browser. And so no matter where you go, if you use that browser, that plugin will be there, and so the plugin links to your in this case Stellar wallet, and you can even have one specifically for the browser, so you can send your money from your crypto wallet somewhere else on your phone and send it to the one in the browser, and then use that one exclusively for shopping. And so that way, if you lose that, or if somebody compromises your computer, and they get a hold of it, then you've only lost, a couple of $100 or whatever you have in that one. But your long-term one is safe. So you can set yourself up like you are a bank, because that's what everybody likes to say anyway. And so you have your hot wallet, which you use for your daily uses. Then you have your warm wallet, which is like on your phone, where you transfer that to your hot wallets, and you have cold storage. And your cold storage is the money you never touch except for emergencies, and that's your nest egg money. That's your super savings, that kind of stuff.
All right. Yeah, so y'all heard it. So and he might be coming out with something to show you how to do some of this stuff, because we gonna help him do that. Because it's family. Hey, like I said, this cryptocurrency shit. Like for those of you that are greedy, this is not for you. No, I'm just being honest, because it's like some people are in it for like you said,
quick
because
riches,
you said have a reason, a plan, or a goal, or all three. You know what I'm saying? Why are you dealing with the cryptocurrency? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, because like I was telling some people, because they start rushing in, and I'm like, I asked my son a question one time, because like I said, I started buying. I didn't buy none when you first started telling me about it, because it was extremely hard to get, and you really had to be in the know, to know how to get it. And if I did get it, it would have. Somebody gave me a piece of paper with a code on it, and I would have known what to do with that shit. So that's ate up by the rats and shit. But anyway, I started buying it at like when it's 2,000, 5,000, 10. You know what I'm saying? Start buying just a little bit at a time. And when it went up to the numbers that they recently was at, you know what I'm saying? It was like at 36,000. I said, Cleve, I asked my son, I said, how much? I said, Bitcoin dropped from 40 to about $36,000. I started buying in some when it was 2,000. I bought some when it was 5. I bought it when it went up to 10. You know what I'm saying? How much money did I lose?
Well, none, actually, if you think about it. Exactly. Like none, if you think about it, because you're in it for the long haul.
I'm in it, and right.
Yeah, like when I was in for a Bitcoin, I was like, as long as Bitcoin is more than $1, I didn't lose any money.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's and the point, and not just the fact that you're not losing money, but once again, just like I'm teaching my kids to with the stocks, you know what I'm saying? When I find a tool where I'm able to get them to be able to get on these coins, I want them to understand that we do it for the long run. We're not traders. We're not jumping in and jumping out. We're not looking for the next hot shit. You know what I'm saying? We're buying it because it's of value to us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can see how I will be able to use Bitcoin, even though the transactions are wide open and people can see the transactions and shit. I can see the value in that. I can see the value in a Lumen. I can see a value in a cred. You understand? Especially a cred, because one is connected to me. You know what I'm saying? It's family and shit like that. And it's like we're trying to build something here. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that all these movements have been missing is well, at least the black movements that I've been involved with, is a currency.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Another young lady, I can't remember what her name is, but she's out of New York, and she created Guap coin, GUAPCOIN, and she made it specifically for the Black community. And I think it still uses proof of work and the same as the Bitcoin. I just didn't like how their implementation of it, where you have to buy into like their servers and they kind of mine it on your behalf, kind of thing. It's a cool project, and that's why I'm mentioning it
But it's very centralized. Sounds very centralized. Sound like
it sounds more. It's more centralized than I'm comfortable with.
Right. I mean, that sounds like some. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, yo. I mean, because like, for example, with Craig, could I mine Craig?
No, it's already been mined. Like the network created it, and it already exists. Like, so what's there is always there. There will never be more. The maximum is 100 billion of them, and there will never be any more. And there will be less because some people are going to lose their wallets. Some people are going to, waste it. Lock it in a wallet and they forget their password. You probably maybe 2% of that disappears.
I might have lost 50 to $100,000, 100,000, my friend.
Well, excellent. But yeah, there will never be more than 100 billion credits, and it was meant to be global. So it's not just me, sit up here like ha ha ha, look at me, but it's more along the lines of like, I have family in like some very, very poor countries, and it was like, hey, if this helps you get out of that or improves your life a little bit, then I've done my part. Or some little kid in the middle of Nicaragua or Uruguay or something like that, and it helps them pull them up out of there, then I've done my part. So that's why there's as many as there are, but not so many. Bitcoin is 21 million. I forgot what Ethereum is. I think Ethereum is like 70 million or something. I
didn't know it was a limit on Ethereum.
Yeah. Well, they've been doing some changes, so I could be very wrong.
How about is there a limit on Lumen?
Lumen, there are 50 billion.
Okay.
Yeah. There used to be 50 used to be 100 billion Lumen, but then they did what's called a burn, and they burned half of them to like help boost the value, because of supply and demand.
When we gonna do a burn with Craig, man?
We don't plan on doing a burn.
Damn.
The point is to be able to put it in as many people's hands as possible.
Okay. I was just saying. All right, let me know just in case I go.
Yeah, like if we make it more scarce, then that means that some people miss out, and and the nature of capitalism is to acquire, so.
Well, I mean, you gotta do something. Do you have some counter programming for users of cred that will help them get out of that mind state? Because that is a mind state that is traveling with all of us.
Yes, we don't have anything to communicate, because that's kind of like a human nature thing. But the best that we can do is to provide services that people need, especially for the people like within our nation. They're like one of the programs that once we have the island or whatever piece of land that we have was that basic human needs will be met. So you need a roof over your head, you need food in your belly, stuff like that. So those are the kind of things that we aim for, and then you'll still have whatever money you earn. Cost of living is more what we like focus on, as opposed to minimum wage, stuff like that. Because it doesn't matter how much more minimum wage you get. If your cost of living is still high, you're like you'll always be chasing that. So we try to keep the cost of living down. Everybody has a home, kind of thing. Okay. Anybody born in an island is born a landowner, kind of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff we're working towards.
All right. So I want to thank you for taking the time. Do you have anything else you want to share with the fam?
I want to thank you for having me on again. I think the last time I was here was what we talked about BitConnects.
Damn, that was a while ago.
That was a long time ago.
That went up under, right?
Yeah, it went up. It went up. It went under in fantastic sort of way. Yeah. So, but other than that, thanks for having me out. Like, it was great.
No problem. I'm gonna look at bringing you back. So
yeah, because I'd like to do maybe a walkthrough for people. It's real simple once you figure it out, or I'll show you how to do a walkthrough. And since you lost access to your,
I said I might have. I said I might have.
or we can walk the kids through one or something like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, but the one that we put up here, or the one we do, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm gonna put it up, then I'm gonna pull it down, and like I said, put it in. Like I said, put it in your name, or put it in your business name, and you got an e-course. I mean, shit. I mean, show people how to do it. I mean, because a lot of people talking about it. Yeah. Show people how to do it, bring some value to them, and they can exchange some value with you.
I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? All right, cool. So, family, we want to thank you for joining us, and we are out. Hold on, Dentista.